All right, what's going on, guys? Been a little while since I've done a custom tool solutions video, but thanks for coming back. Yeah, so I am a carpenter remodeler, but focusing more and more on carpentry these days. I work out of a trailer, but honestly, more and more I find the trailer is sometimes impossible to park, and I do some amount of service work regardless, so having a better mobile setup makes a huge difference. So I've had different iterations of this a couple different times, but basic design constraints are to be able to carry sheet goods all the time. Plywood, drywall are the main ones, but lumber, etc. Also, I wanted to have the truck be pretty useful as a truck, so not just be a fully racked build out. So kind of a hybrid between a custom racking with the cap and a still functional vehicle to do, you know, farm work and haul furniture and trash around and go to the dump and stuff I have to do weekly. So yeah, so the basic build out here, like I said, this is probably the second iteration of this. Probably the biggest difference with this is the side storage, which is kind of like a ram box, which is to say I actually make use of the storage on the sides, and also horizontal pullouts, which I'll show you more later. But basically I have a two-tiered pullout system that goes all the way through. You can access it from both sides, and it literally just slides in on itself. I'll talk a little bit more about the components in a minute, but another design consideration of this setup was to push the weight of all of my stuff towards the front of the vehicle. So if we're looking at the side of the vehicle, it's just a 1500. A huge amount of the weight is actually in front of the rear axle. Now, I know ultimately we're only talking a couple 100 pounds max, but it does matter. It keeps the tongue weights less impactful when I'm pulling a trailer, and just the general balance of the vehicle is better. If we took all that weight and pushed it towards the rear of the vehicle, it definitely feels different. So small performance benefit. I'm a huge cap fan. This is a Lear Contractor Cap, but ARE cap has been great to me too. So the side doors are essential, obviously, to this setup. I'm going to take you through the setup and give you some features here that are important to me as a carpenter. But if you work in another trade, obviously you could modify some of these ideas to whatever your needs are. So let's just quickly look at what I mean by the ram box. So really the heart of the system is these two vertical side panels. This one here, which goes all the way back, and this one here, which goes all the way back. These are just 1/2-inch plywood. They are right to the insides of the wheel wells, which you obviously can't see. And that gives us 49.5 inches from side to side. 48.5 would be fine. So if you have a different truck, that would be fine, but easy to slide plywood in. So there's that. Also, having the full sides lets me take advantage of the space that is inside here. This goes from the front all the way to the back of the truck. So I have some small ladder, a small stool, excuse me, some kneeling pads. I actually have traction boards in there. I also have a level, and you can access the inside from this compartment here. So it's just a cutout here. Push the drawer over, you get full access. You can see my traction boards. Got some vacuum bags, PPE. What else do I have in here? Extension cord, some trash bags. So just stuff I don't necessarily need to get to a ton buried deep in there, but still, again, this is normally wasted space. So now I actually get quite a bit of storage out of it. Speaking of wasted space, you'll see that the strut is basically maxed out. So the vertical divider for the drawer, the side support, I still have a decent amount of space back there, and I wanted to utilize it. So I can fit 2 mobile fans back there. I just flip them over the top. I can fit some small Systainers and some other gear back there. So yeah, it's not the easiest to access, but it's actually not bad. And if you choose wisely, you get a bunch of extra space here. All right, so another couple notes about the custom drawers. I've used basically every drawer system in existence, and you lose a tremendous amount of space to those plastic drawers, whether it be pack out, tough system, the Festool Systainer drawers, you lose a massive amount of space to the drawer and the drawer mechanism. I basically did the math, and doing my own drawers doubled the internal volume of the drawer given the identical amount of external volume. I know that sounds crazy, but I did the math. Like I said, you get double the storage space for the same amount of exterior space if you build your own drawers. So once I did the math on that, it was pretty compelling, and I basically had to push forward and prototype this. So let me show you the big drawers all the way. Again, they pull out from both sides, but again, built to be very light, as strong as necessary, but not overbuilt. So it's just 3/4 ply in the front, 1/2 inch ply on the sides, a finger hole here if I need to pull it out. If it's pushed all the way through, I can reach in and still grab it. And that's over 2/3 of the box. And this is using poplar ply, which is quite weak, and it is plenty strong. I forgot to latch the side, and this thing actually shot out of the truck while it was moving, and it stopped here because all the weight of the drawer basically creates friction on the top. Anyways, it didn't fall out. Nothing got lost. I'll hopefully never make that mistake again. But I just want to show you guys how much I can get in these drawers. I use the Sortimo boxes, and these are the Sortimo drawer organizers. I did not space them around this. I basically spaced it some other way. I probably could have if I was a little bit smarter, but I had a general idea on how much space I wanted to take up. But you can see just the amazing amount of stuff I have in here. So this is, drivers, drill bits, some basic quick access tools, and a bunch of fasteners. So I'll quickly go around to the other side. Let me show you the top drawer first, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Top drawer is designed for small tools, power tools mostly. But I got quite a bit in here. A couple jigsaws, one with a coping foot in here, and one, my standard jigsaw, multi-tool, driver drill, Dremel. I actually have an 18 and a pin nailer that fit in here too without any issue. Those are empty now. And now I'll go show you the other side. But like I said, those drawers just push all the way through. Take up extremely little space that is normally wasted in the back of the cab. And there's the other side. You can see the middle drawer again. And again, more fasteners. The fasteners on this side are less used. It's like wall mounting, anchoring, stuff I need for sure, but I don't use as frequently. Stuff on the other side is more frequently used because it's the curb side. And there's the other side. And again, just some basic carpentry tools, clamping, shimming, like good chisels. Yeah. And these drawers are just waxed. That's it. I'm not going to say a whole lot more on how I built this, but I would say it's straightforward, but it's not. I build cabinets all the time, so it's one of those setups you definitely want to be pretty accurate and pretty confident building. Otherwise, your clearances need to be good. I left probably 1/8 of an inch total, and that seems to work really well. I could probably have gone a little bit smaller on the top. I think I did, and it's basically perfect. Like I said, just use paste wax to wax everything. Slides great. This here is for my Makita track saw. It slips in perfectly, holds itself. I have my Makita track in here too. Nothing fancy, just a little strip. I have a little cleat in the back there, but really probably not necessary. I actually built this today, so you can see how shallow these drawers are. My little trash can just hooks on here, but you can see how shallow these drawers are. It allows full height on this side, and they're really, really simple. This is just the back of the drawer, goes all the way through, and there are screws. You can kind of see them right there. Literally just a screw with the top nipped off through the top, and it keeps the drawer from falling out. Drawer doesn't fall out, and then keeps the drawer from going in too far. So really simple, just some knobs I had lying around, but just got some batteries in here. Literally just did these today, and this is just some basic truck tools. So deep sockets, some basic plying tools, and just some fix-it stuff for the, for actual truck maintenance. And then sockets up here. I have a little clamp rack. I got a hammer. This is in flux. I just built this again out of scrap. It's just screwed in really quickly, come off with a couple screws. That may or may not stay there forever, but that's that. I already showed you the side boxes. I actually recently did this. It's just a pack out, M18 pack out. Believe it or not, the little cleat base I use, so it does clip in. It does click in. It is just the lid. I literally took the lid off and mounted it on the wood down there. Clicks in. I made a little hose caddy. I love having this vacuum. It's my mobile vac. I do have a bigger Festool vac that I use for more stuff, but having a vacuum all the time is really nice, and this is pretty capable. It works with dust bags, which I have extra of. So it's a pretty capable dust collector, and it's cordless. So this is the best setup I've gotten for it yet, but it's still kind of annoying to have to deal with. It's big. I have a custom hose that I made with the Festool top on it. So it mates with all the Festool dust collection ports, which is my standard. Yep, so far so good on that. See, I have a couple things up top. I have a Magna Sweep, just a little light here. And in the sides, on this side, I have a broom, my basic clamp, like tie downs and stuff. So I have tie downs. I just have a bag. And I have some plastic, some rope. And then on that side in the ram box, I have mostly floor protection. So let's see. Yep, I have, I also have my big M18 Sawzall, or the hacksaw, whatever. And then just flooring protection. So some drop cloths and moving blankets. This was just a little too big to fit in the drawer easily, so it just sits in there. I have a small circular saw back here. Yeah, so none of this for the most part are my go-to #1 tools, but a lot of it are good enough quality to get good stuff done. Oh, also I have a PVC pipe in there, and this is my puller stick. So I've had this thing for like 10 years. Every time I've had a truck with a cap, the puller stick is key. Lets you reach in and grab stuff. So the last probably major component of this system is the drawer slide. So again, I wanted to be able to get sheet goods in here all the time. And if not sheet goods, I have cutting tables and long, thin materials that I use for my mobile workshop setup. So having about 6 inches of clearance under there lets me get a lot of stuff under there. And still, like I said, be able to get sheet goods in here anytime I want. So on the side here, I have a little locking mechanism. It's just a couple holes and then just a piece of poplar with some screws, and that just slips right in there. Super quick, it keeps the thing from sliding forward. So here's my pull rope. You can tell it won't move. Pop this out. You can actually use this to pull your drawer forward. So I actually am going to build a second drawer as well to accommodate an entire secondary row, which will be sort of sometimes you use, sometimes not. But anyways, pulls out, and I'm starting to base this around Systainers, which I had largely moved away from, but I just kind of lucked out that this fits 3 Systainers across. These are basically empty right now. I haven't even started loading them, but it fits 3 Systainers across and 2.5 deep. When I remake this, I will make it either the depth of 2 Systainers or 3. I don't really know. Honestly, I'm just going to live with it for a little bit and see what happens. But you can see it slides forward. It's super simple and light, just 1/2-inch plywood with some stringers screwed and glued from the bottom. Every single thing in here that needs to be strong is glued and screwed and nailed typically. Because I'm using a lot of pretty low quality poplar 1/2-inch plywood, again, for weight savings and space savings, I needed to make sure my joints were, even though they're mostly butt joints, there are some lap joints and some more complicated joinery. But so far, so good strength-wise. We'll see how it holds up, but worst case, I can always go to birch ply if I need to, or even 3/4 if it really becomes an issue. But so far, so good. Those little guide rails that the whole thing slides on are, again, just solid poplar. They're glued and screwed from the inside. So I basically had to think this all through before I put it together. Like I said, I've done probably 4 or 5 iterations of this, and every time I get a little more clever. So yeah, so they're screwed from the inside and glued. Obviously, this will probably take 100+ pounds of weight. So hopefully it holds up. I mean, that's a lot of gluing surface plus the screws, so it should be just fine. Let's see. Oh yeah, so not a whole lot in these Systainers yet, but currently I do have, I got to get rid of that screw, but I do have my my router, the easy access. So I have another router and a router table, small more portable router table that actually fits in the back there. But here's one of my portable routers, router accessories. I'll probably put some of this into even deeper storage, like the angle router guide. I've only used this a couple times. When you need it, but it takes up space. Yeah, high quality edge guide, plunge base, a battery. So yeah, this has been my my router setup for a long time. Anyways, let's see, push it all back, put it away, and that's really it. So hopefully that was helpful. Any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Yeah, it all closes up. Just got to remember to lock these down, otherwise the drawers will shoot themselves out, because they do slide pretty easily. So with this setup, once these are actually closed, the drawers can only move about 4 or 5 inches left to right, and they'll just tap into the metal here. So no big deal. So anyways, have a good one, everyone. Thanks for sticking it through, and hope this gave you some good ideas for your own custom builds. Take care.